Hi there, this is Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and this is the 1994 Toyota Century. It's a flagship model for Toyota. It's a rear-wheel drive, 4-liter V8 mega sedan. Probably one of the coolest vehicles that you can buy from Japan. This one's 25 years old now. It's going to be imported to the USA. And the Century really is something unique and something very Japanese. So this was bought from auction for a customer in the USA. I would probably consider this one to be something of a lower grade version of the Century. And so while this can be a really cheap car, especially compared to the original price in Japan when this was a new car, these now are over $100,000. They have a V12. Actually, the new one I don't think has it, but the previous one that was just replaced had a V12 engine in it, a 5-liter. The only car from Toyota that has a V12 in it. This one's a 4-liter V8 and bespoke to this car. It is not the same V8 as you find in the Land Cruiser, and I suppose it's made for smoothness and uniqueness, because if you're not smooth and unique, then this car doesn't really appeal to the buyers. It's the car to be driven around in. The back seats are fantastic and have some of the coolest features of any car. Okay, now the engine here, this is a post-purchase walk-around. I'm just going to show you the condition of it. Quite a few things here and there that need to be repaired, but yeah, prices of these are generally pretty low. This one here is on the lower side of it, and the lowness of the price, a lot of it comes from the fact that these are complicated cars with a lot of things. This one has oil and coolant, looks like they're fine and no problems with engine oil leaks or something like that, but look at all those vacuum hoses. That's pretty crazy. It's the time before electronics controlled everything. All right, we're going to close the hood here. And so we'll take a look at the interior, exterior. The exterior is very cool. I've given it a drive. Everybody, even here in Japan, takes a look at you when you're driving, because this thing is huge by Japanese standards and very, very unique looking here. And even more so outside of Japan, I suppose. Look at these fender mirrors. And it just feels so cool to drive this. Here's the auction inspection sheet. I'm going to pull that out of the sun because the sun is killing my eyes. And this is the information given to us at the time of purchase from the auction. I'll just go over this quickly. But before I do that, I'm just going to turn the engine off because there's no reason to keep it running. Here's something interesting about the Century that maybe you didn't know. These pieces here are all hand welded together and sanded down. So each one was made by a person instead of a machine. All right, so this one here is 145,000 kilometers, which is rather high for these. It's an auction grade 3.5 with an interior and exterior C, so rather low grade in that respect. Has some corrosion on the hood. Scratches on the front bumper, paint fade on the roof, and a rip. It's a canvas roof, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Usually these are just hardtop painted roof. But it's a canvas roof. That's probably going to need to be repaired. And it looks like there's some rust underneath the roof too. Some uneven paint over here, and some small dents. Overall, the body really isn't bad at all, except for the paint on this side is not good. And then there's the rust here. It's on the cowl. And then looks like some rust on the roof that wasn't mentioned here. It's underneath the vinyl and it's showing up as bubbles. Okay, it's original black. Getting one of these in black, you'll pay more. They also came in burgundy and navy blue, and I think some other colors like silver, possibly white, but the black one is the one that everybody wants. So you'll typically pay more for that. Automatic transmission. This one actually has a problem with the automatic transmission. I found out after driving it. So it says various power windows don't work. Windshield rock chip, interior scratched and dirty, carpet dirty, console has glue marks on it. The side visor is bent. Actually, it's removed. Take a look. See this metal thing? It's been removed off of this, and that's probably the one that was bent. It's in the foot area for the passenger seat. And the passenger seat is super rad in this. I'll show you in a sec. Battery underside is surface rust and corrosion. I actually couldn't find that. Various scuffs, scratches, repainted parts, and uneven paint. That's the paint I'm talking about on this side here. And the hood and rear gate dampers don't work. So I'm going to just, I guess, leave this here. I'll do a quick once around of the car, and then I'll show you all the features. And then I'll give it a Doug score, but not really. I don't know. In fact, Doug DeMero, he's done one of these cars before, and if he hasn't, then he definitely should, because there's really nothing out there that's even close to something like this. Look at how the sill on the side, this is a good example. Sill on the side is higher for the driver along here, but then it goes down for the passenger to make it just that much easier to get into the back seat. Really crazy. And then you can't get these with leather, because leather makes a sound when you move. And the Japanese people being driven around don't want to make a sound when they move. So it's all fabric inside. There might be a leather option, but I've never seen a leather one, and we've exported a few of these. Very long, very low, very small windows. And when you sit in it, especially when you drive it, the suspension is so soft. Oddly, it's spring suspension in the front and air suspension in the back, instead of air suspension all the way around like the Celsior or the LS400. A big grille, but classically styled. These have only gone through a few iterations over the years, and I think the first ones were in the 60s, or maybe even earlier. Long boot, gives you lots of room in the trunk. In fact, lots and lots. I went to drive this back to our office, and it's quite hard to park into our office parking spot because of how long it is. It's stuck out a meter from the parking spot. Crazy. Okay, I will show you the trunk, I guess, but I'm not going to show you that until I go over some of the damage on the body first. Okay, so it said the front bumper A2, that's medium scratches. They're basically on the corners. This one here is not so bad. And then there's this one here, which is a little bit worse. Attention to detail is pretty amazing. They got these tiny little lights here at the top, and these run through, I believe, fiber optics to the regular headlights. Their own little projector headlight down there, which is a driving light. Big grille with a phoenix on it, because Toyota has little mythical animals for a lot of their cars. Like this Celica is a griffin? I don't know. The mark here is a little bit worn. It's supposed to have a driving pole here, which comes up like that and shows you where your corner is, so it's harder to make scuffs on your bumper. And then the fender mirrors. A little bit annoying, to be honest, but worth it. Fender mirrors are popular in Japan because the corners are really tight, and this gives you better visibility when you're going around a corner, because when you go around a really tight corner that's a concrete 90 degrees, it's really easy to cut too close and get a scrape on the side here. And then moving the mirrors up, you have a better view of your side when you're going around something like that. So rust here, this is the C2 they were talking about. It's really not as bad as I thought that it would be, and so that's good. Now the vinyl roof, look here. Right here is probably rust underneath there. There's also some discoloration in it. Down here, it's a bit flappy. And then some rust around here. A few rips here. Some more rust right underneath the window. And rust here. And this lace curtain is power, and it closes and opens. And you can set different levels of close and open too. Some more rust around here. So considering the price paid for this one, I think you can get that rust repaired and then rewrap the roof and still be in it. A very good version of these, especially the black ones, will tend to bring big money in the USA if your intention is selling them, but they don't come up for auction very often in black. Oh, and these lights just look so cool. If you look down, the fog lights down below the headlight, I love it. Oh, and the plate can't come with the car. Sorry about that. I know a lot of people are asking. The old versions of them had the weirdest steering too, because the steering rack was up above the engine instead of below it like a traditional car. So you could actually see the arms move the top of the suspension turrets when you moved it. And then look at this, chrome rings around the windshield wipers. So cool. There's also another rip up here. and here. Okay, the best part about the car is inside, so I guess we'll take a look. First off, though, I suppose I should mention about a few things. It looks like the air suspension in the back is sagging, and it looks like the transmission has troubles kicking down. So the kick down cable has probably gone bad or has snapped. Okay, so inside here, these are all your power windows. You have a total of 8, plus a seat heater, and all 4 of the seats in the car get a seat heater. Your own ashtray, 1 for each door, and then the reason why you have 8 power windows is because all of the windows open, except for not on this car. Remember on the auction sheet it says there's various power window problems. And so all the regular windows go down, and then there are these triangular windows which, instead of popping out with your fingers, like the peasants do, they rotate out through a power window. I mean, they should. Unfortunately, they don't all do it. The ones, I believe I tested them all. As far as I know, just this one over here doesn't work. This window doesn't work, like doesn't go down or up. And this one here, the rails, when it goes down, it's fine. When it goes up, it'll get caught, and you have to kind of pull it up with your fingers to get it up. Okay, back seat. Actually, let me show you this. I don't know whose idea this was, but this is remarkable. Check out this seat. Now this seat has a removable back pad. This section here, you can put it down like that, and you can put your legs through so that you can stretch out your legs if you want. Now these are also power seats, so they recline and go forward and backwards like that. And they have massaging seats that you can set the level of a massage. I'll show you that in a sec. So, got my shoes off. Oh, so unique and so cool. And then the driver gets to have a passenger of feet. Hey driver, what are you doing? You can give them directions, like if you don't want to speak, you can go like this. Go left. Yeah. Close that up. Century. Trash box. And then look at how much room you get in the back. And so yes, these are vehicles you get driven in instead of vehicles you drive, because oddly, you don't get much room in the front. Now up here you get a mirror that looks like this has gone the way of Super Nintendo's and has turned yellow. But the mirror comes down and then you can point it in different directions. That's cool. The power seat buttons here, and then rear curtains. So this one here you can set for the level. You can just push it and then stop. And then this one here is push it once and it will open or close all the way. This piece, so 5-seater. And then inside here has a bunch of controls. Tape deck, and then a microphone in with volume control and speaker control. And so this would have been made for back in the day before people had computers. They could record something they wanted, and then somebody in the company would put that to type. It was kind of a common thing before, like, businessmen knew how to use computers or keyboards. This one here, air purifier and cooler. Rear AC, audio controls, CD player controls, volume up and down, and I guess Dolby digital sound. Open this, no cassette in there, but I would love it if Snoop Dogg made like a rap song sitting in the back of one of these, recorded to one of these tapes. I think that's probably the pinnacle of human existence. Now, up here we have controls, and these are on both sides. And so here you have, room lamp. You can turn on the front and the rear, because there's 2 lamps there. And then seat vibrations, there's on, off. And then you can set through this the level of speed of the vibrator, which sounds funny saying. And then heated seats here, different levels of heat. And then you can open your windows too if you want to. And so that is the rear of the car, arguably the more important part. Driving it, it's very, very squishy suspension, lots of body roll, but that kind of feels like it suits this car very much. It's a large vehicle, especially by Japanese standards, And the way you sit high in the seat, and also the seat height control doesn't work, so I don't know if the seat is set to a overly high setting, but the seat sits high and my head is close to the top of this, and it feels really neat being up that high in what is normally a sedan. I don't know if that's something that would wear away over time, but I feel like it gives you a bigger feeling of prominence. Like, this car is so much more important than everyone else. This is an aftermarket floor mat in here, and the key has, can you see that? The key has the Phoenix on it. Steering wheel to me is a little bit odd because it has the same size hole in the top and the bottom, so you can't, through tactile feedback, tell if the steering wheel is upside down or right side up. And the power steering is very, very, very highly boosted. So by moving it a little bit, you can use like your pinky's fingernail to move the steering. And then it goes around many times. And because of that, it's easy to lose track of which way it's pointed, I feel. And then getting in, you got your big legs and you're like, oh, this steering wheel is so big, hard to fit in. And this is as far back as the seat will go. And that gives you the more room in the back, but less room up front. Auto dimmers here. So gauge, lights, and then auto dimmer here is after you close the door, the lights will gradually go down and you can set the rate at which they do that. This trunk button doesn't work. And speaking of which, actually, I'm going to take a little side detour here. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. The button for opening the trunk doesn't work. And here's the trunk. Not an awful lot to see here, but they do have an extra pouch here that you can put things in, which is kind of cool. I don't know if there's anything else really cool about the trunk. Has an auto closer. That's cool. Okay, so getting back into this. So the AC works. That's nice. It has swing vents. And so you can set to regular vents, or you can set to different levels of swing, and then these vents will oscillate back and forth. There are some other Toyotas that do that, like the Crown and the Mark II and the Cresta, I think. But this one has that. The dashboard looks very like old American style, if you can say that, but this section here looks very much Japanese. And then automatic on the floor shifter. I believe there are some with column shifter, because I know that the Crown came in both, so the Century might be the same. Okay, so rear setting for the air conditioner, your own temperatures there if you want, and then micro-processed automatic air conditioner. And so you can set the area here. All of that's pretty basic, except there is an air purifier together with it. This screw's coming out. Oh no, we found a problem with the car. This is really cool though. Take a look at this. Radio volume control, but you set which position you have people in the car and it will adjust the audio so it sounds better for people. So if you're just the driver, you can set it there, or if you have a driver and a passenger, you can set it on that. And I don't know how it changes, but it is interesting to think that it has that, even if you don't notice a difference. And then what's this? Classic, rock and roll, pops, jazz, or vocal. So you can choose which one that you like, I guess. Kind of cool. And I don't know what these things do. It's all a mystery. This is all real wood, which is really weird for a Japanese car, to be honest. Headliner. Got some cigarette burns. 1, 2, 3. I guess that's on because the door is open. Okay. And I think that is it. We got a sensor up here. I don't know what that sensor is for. Oh, there were one more control. There's like a seat control for the front seat somewhere, but I can't remember where it is, and I'm going to give up on searching for now. But that's that. Toyota Century. Something that you don't see every day, even on this channel. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 other ones that are on the channel you can check out if you want more information on these. But there you have it. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.